Hello and welcome back to another video. So this video is a little bit late. Was meaning to film this kind of video pretty much right after the release of the Freshspring. But I kind of just didn't really get around to it. Well, actually I did, but then I scrapped the video just because I forget the reason, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're here now. So I've been doing a lot of changes to the Freshspring, improving on its system, some of the details, and yeah, pretty much just fixing a lot of things that were wrong with it. First thing that I fixed, of course, is you can notice it's not actually spinning in place. Of course, since I have the warning line there, but if this were the old version, it'd start rotating that way. So that's all fixed. It was actually because of the tank track wheel that I used for decoration in the front wheel list here. So now that's gone, it fixed the issue. Had to do a bunch of reballasting as well, just because of that. It added like a lot of buoyancy in the front for some reason. So had to fix that as well. With that change, I was also able to add more pivots to it to give it more buoyancy, so the water tanks are actually filled with water now. Fresh water to be exact, because it's, the Freshspring. So, sitting pretty low in the water right now, but if those tanks were not, you can actually rise out of the water more. You can actually see the red anti-fouling. Bunch of other changes as well. The flybridge up top now also works. You can see the telegraph back down there. And a little bit more that I'm kind of forgetting, but don't want to make this video too long. But this is just going to be a simple video on how to actually get the ship on the go and to deliver any fresh water you want. So yeah, just hop aboard here. I forget where the button is. I probably won't be able to access it from there. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, I'll fix that after I finish this video, but yeah, it just needs a little electricity to open the door. Turn that back off. So, Freshspring, I'm not going to go through a interior tour. You can probably do that yourself, but of course, if you don't know, it's pretty much full interior everywhere you can think of. Probably I'd want to say the most detailed ship in Stormworks, but I'm not going to brag, you know what I mean? But yeah, not the most detailed ship, of course, but probably the most detailed steamship. I don't know. You tell me. But anyway, so to get started, we might as well just go up to the bridge. Of course, got a fake ladder here. You can actually just like walk up to this little space here and just jump up with crouch, of course. Or you can go up to the back and just use an actual ladder back here. I think the Freshspring Trust actually put like a, well, still call it a ladder on a ship, but it's like more of like a staircase here. But I just went old school and put the ladder here. So anyway, I'm going to try not to get distracted by neat details. So this is the bridge. Main thing you want to do here just to get the ship started, and let's go over to the breaker board here and flip everything on. And those should be the main ones you want. Of course, you can probably turn off the white lights and the navigation lights since it's pretty much daylight and no fog. But all of the breakers for all the different rooms and lights and everything like that, you probably want to get on. A radio here if you want to use it. I've never really tested it, so do what you may with it. It just works on frequencies of 1 through 1,000 or something like that. But you can just talk into there, and that should transmit to really any radio, unless you have it hooked up weird. Of course, I haven't tested this with other radio systems. It's only been with this radio set that I have made. So if it works, it works. If it don't, oh well. You'll just have to spawn another Freshspring to talk to your friend. I got some equipment here as well if you need it. But we'll head back down. We'll actually go through this hatch. Actually, not that one. Go for this one here. This will bring you into the boiler. Top of the boiler, of course. Added a access hatch there just in case a fire starts in the boiler or something. It's kind of hard to put out. But here you can access your steam lines. Just for testing, these are left on. Probably going to turn them off. Not sure though. Might keep them on just for people to stop screaming at me in the comments because it's not working. Anyway, just crawl for this little hatch here and enter the fan space. Nothing really exciting there, except we can go down to the boiler here. Fake ladder, of course, but you can just hop up and get on the real one, and then just kind of, you probably have to fall down again, but then just jump up. Bunker here if you want to refill the ship. We'll just hop back down here again. So to get the boiler up and running, what you're going to do is just simply hit the flip switch on the light boiler, and then you can grab some coal and just start loading it in. You can check your coal level here. See our temperature is slowly rising. Takes a little bit to get up to temp, but it's not that slow, I guess. And then just fill that all up to 37 pieces of coal. And then it's just a waiting game until the boiler gets up the pressure. Of course, realistically, it would take days to do this. And if you've got a keen eye, you'll notice that there's a little section here missing. The Freshspring, as it is now, did have a heavy fuel oil injector here, which would inject fuel into the furnace to burn instead of coal. But of course, there is no fuel oil in Stormworks. Well, there's crude oil, I guess, but that's not really the same thing. But yeah, you can only burn coal in the firebox, so obviously it's going to be coal powered. So this is pretty much the 1950s version of the Freshspring, of when it was pretty much just, of course, fresh out of the harbor. And while we're waiting, you can see the boiler pressure gauge is up here. You can go check on that. It is scaled up a bit, so 10 is not going to be your blow up pressure, of course. It's going to be more around like 20 bar. Not sure if that's what the Freshspring was rated for. That's just what I picked up from like Derail Valley, the steam engine in that. So it looks like we are getting some pressure. And of course, when you make pressure, you're going to use water. So to get the water up and running, you're going to take from the main feed water tank, open up the throttle, and then turn on this valve here, which is right here. And you might be able to hear it faintly, but you'll hear the auxiliary turbine spinning up. I wanted to use the new pistons, but they're kind of tricky to use, and I'd probably get a little bit more ease of use out of the turbines, so just went with those for the refit. So it looks like we're around 4 bar, should get up to like a 12 bar. At least that's what I found it to. Well, technical difficulties there. I just spilled all my water. Everything's fine though. So we're getting up the pressure there. It should start releasing at 18 pressure. Do have infant fuel off. The ship does work in infant fuel, but I found that it might blow up sometimes. Kind of depends on the circumstances. Another thing, water glasses are up top, so you can just see how much water is actually in them. The swaying of the ship left and right will actually skew the numbers a little bit, so watch out for that, but shouldn't be too much of an issue though. They have to get down really low before they'll actually cause the boiler to have a crown plate explosion. So always keep your water topped up. It's pretty easy to do though, since you can just keep the feed water pump running constantly, or you can engage the condensate pump, which goes to the pump that's on the side of the engine. now just automatically pump in water to the boiler. So, next step is, of course, gonna wanna walk out and close that, go through here, or you can also just use this door right here. And we'll be going to the engine room. So, a little tight space, just follow the piping and everything. Again, fake ladder here, but you can just use the seat here just to teleport up, pretty much. That's just the engine casing there. I think this dial is actually hooked up to anything. But you got the builder's blade is there as well. Alright, so hopping down. What you want to do to actually get the lights on, of course, is you're going to engage the switchboard, the lights, the main, and then you also want to turn on the dynamo. Probably should have done that first, of course. And then you'll just hit the cut-in. And the lights will flicker a little bit, and then they'll turn on eventually. So, we got some dials here just to tell you all the pressures in all the cylinders, and also the condenser temperature. This would have actually been like a pressure gauge on the condenser, but I changed it to temperature just because that's pretty much useful for Stoneworks purposes. Since really condenser pressure doesn't really matter, is what I'm trying to say. But you got your boiler pressure gauge here. Usually stabilizes at 12 bar, I found. So to actually get the ship moving, you have the telegraph here, so it'll always go to full astern when you start. So first thing you want to do is probably want to set to stop on both sides, engine room and bridge, of course. So from the telegraph, of course, if the bridge tells you to go be ahead, or no, that's slow ahead. So slow ahead, pretty much you probably want to go about 50 on the valve position. Turn that off real quick though, because it's just gonna pull us out of the harbor. Should go down, yeah. I used to have a brake on the propeller that would engage if the RPM was above where it needs to be, but disable it just for momentum purposes. So it's not really great at low speeds. But anyway, that's pretty much how you get the ship moving, of course. You'll just follow the direction of the bridge crew. And this ship does work pretty well in multiplayer, if your computer is good, of course. Hasn't been really that many problems I've found with multiplayer. Obviously it gets a little laggy if you have another ship spawned in, but it should be pretty fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So you have your throttle here, reversing engine here. That's this thing here. Now I'll just reverse you. I might try and edit that a little bit since it's a little too fast. It just instantly reverses. But that'll probably be later in a couple days, maybe. Not sure. So on to the suction stuff. This is for ballast and bilge and everything. So to take anything from anywhere, you want to turn on the inlet valve here. This basically just enables all of these to go into the pump there. So if I wanted to engage the bilge, I'd click that. If I wanted to suck in seawater for firefighting purposes or something like that, you'd want to do that. If you want to empty any of the ballast tanks, you have the aft ballast tank and the forward ballast tank. This is for this kind of trim, of course. You'd engage those two. Don't mind these key buttons, that is a mistake. I gotta fix that, of course. You also have a salvage inlet. This allows you to suck in water from another ship. If they were sinking, of course you probably need your ship to have that capability as well, though, to export any bilge water. Haven't really tested though, of course. Then over here, if you want to engage it for fire, you'd engage the firecock, and then of course up the throttle on the engine here. Now turn an impeller pump, which will of course go up. There's also the overboard valve. This will take any water that you've selected, and that'll shove it overboard. That's pretty much it for that. In case of an emergency, let's say you're lose power on the boiler, you can use the new cranks to engage an impeller pump, and that'll do some pumping for you. It won't be as good as the actual pumps because those use the super pumps, and this does not. So it's going to be a little bit slow and probably won't help you, but if you can use a welder to keep the flooding under control, you should be able to eventually expel any water. Speaking of which, one thing you also have to do is engage the circulating pump. This just gives water to the condenser here to cool down the steam after it's gone to its cycles. And then also here, you'll have some equipment. So you have some extra rope up here, you got a welder, an underwater welder just in case as well, some hoses, fire extinguisher, and some cable. And that's pretty much it for that. And then we also have the general service pump. This is for filling any of the ballast tanks. So if you wanted to, you can also use this to pump in water, to fill it, of course. Actually, oh no, I got that wrong. This will actually pump to the pump over there just to give it a little extra boost. Then you can also pump to the forward or the ballast tank or the starboard fire main. Not sure if any of these valves are correct. That's just kind of what I'm going off of from pictures. And then beforehand, if you want to fill something, you gotta turn on the C-suction and then turn on the pump. And then over here, you also have the freshwater tank, or freshwater engine, I mean. And this just allows you to throw any water that is in the cargo tanks. It's pretty helpful if, let's say, you take damage and you're sinking, you want to get a little extra buoyancy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So you just engage the engine, and then you'll engage whichever one you want to suck out of. So this goes to the aft two tanks. They kind of just suck out of them at the same time, just for keeping the boat level, of course. So you can suck out of the aft tank over there. You can suck out of the... So there's 4 water tanks in the front, and of course, just for level purposes, it's going to fill or suck out of 2 of them. So midship is going to be the one that's closest to the bridge, and then the forward one is going to be the one closest to the forward, of course. So you can choose which ones to pump out of there, and that's pretty much it. So if I use the home key to teleport around, I'm going to take off the ropes. Of course, just put them back. I just have them stored in a little secret hideaway here, underneath the bulwark. That's obviously not where they would be stored, but for strong purposes, that's where they're going to be. So since I'm only one person, I'm going to head into the bridge. Actually, I'm going to go to the flybridge, which has newly been restored to working order. I'm going to order slow ahead. I'm also going to tilt the rudder a little bit to the left, just so it'll automatically go off to the left. Of course, if you have more people, this will be way easier and you wouldn't have to do it this way. But I'm going to put the engines at around 20. Set the telegraph. This is my own telegraph, of course. You can download that off the workshop. A little janky, but it works. But anyway, we're running. That is a little bit faster than it should be. I might have to tune the pit a little bit. Oh, we're gonna crash. There we go. Okay, it looks like it's slowing down a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to fix that after I am done editing this video, so sorry about that. It shouldn't be like that when you download it. But anyway, that's pretty much how you get the ship running. We can also head down to the lower bridge and show you some of the lights we have. So we have exterior lighting, which I think is already on. You see on the left there. Not really helpful. It's kind of big dim for some reason. Not really sure why. But we can just turn on the navigation and white lights. These are your navigation lights, of course. The red and green, of course, just tell other ships what direction you're going in, and then the white lights just are kind of like a beacon. Anyway, I can head back into the engine room. So going to 100 RPM. Even that. I'm gonna have to take a look on that. Just because of the new turbines system I added, it's kind of messed with the throttle system, so don't mind that, of course. Yeah, increasing a little bit. Of course, if you want to reverse the engine, you can just do that. Inside it looks fine, but the exterior kind of looks a little janky, but it's alright. So we're just passing on this bridge. We might have to... mast might hit it, but it should just bend out of place, so it's fine. Not really put on a great presentation anyway. There we go. It's all good. So, we should be able to go under most bridges. Maybe just not the river bridges, though. So, that's pretty much it. Of course, you can just control some of the flybridge up here. It's also called Monkey Island as well. Or you can control from the bridge down here. I also have a whistle here, which you can blow. Yeah, there we go. Has a little bit of delay on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to do a little bit more changes to this, of course, but that should be all the knowledge you need to get this bad boy started up. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next video I make in probably like 1-2 months, I don't know. I haven't really been posting all that much recently. Can't speak. Anyway, that's all for today. Have a good one.